Hey guys, I'm Ryan. This is Future Riffs, and today we are going to look at some simple arpeggios. So I am hopefully going to help enlighten you guys a little bit on just what arpeggios are today, some different techniques that we can use to practice them, and my major uses for arpeggios and the ones that I use the most. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense if I showed you guys the ones I don't use the most, but who knows, maybe one day I'll do that too. We're going to go over some 5-string arpeggio shapes, some 3-string arpeggio shapes, and some 6-string arpeggio shapes. All of them are going to have their own uses, and I'm hoping that I can show you a really decent way to practice all of them as well. So let's get moving here, and let's do 5-string arpeggios first. In my personal playing, the 5-string arpeggio is the most common shape that I use. So in this video, I'm going to show you a minor one and a major shape. So a minor shape and a major shape. You guys want to know what an arpeggio is? Should I tell you that too? Let me define arpeggio. Anytime you play a chord, you are almost playing an arpeggio. If you take that chord and play it one note at a time, that's what an arpeggio is. So an arpeggio is a chord played one note at a time. So the first arpeggio I'm going to show you is a 5-string minor shape that's going to start on A. So it's going to be an A minor 5-string arpeggio. So let's put our pinky on A at 12. There we go. Now my volume is all the way up. So pinky at 12. Middle finger is going to go to D at 10. Pointer finger is going to go to 9 on the G. Middle finger is going to go to 10 on the B. Pointer finger is going to reach back just slightly to grab 8 on the E string. And then I'm going to hammer on a pinky to 12. This completes my ascending portion of the arpeggio. Let me play it without talking all the way through it so you guys can see it and hear it a little bit better. Okay, so this arpeggio is pretty easy to get under your fingers. The reason I started by telling you guys what fingers I was using and what frets is because it's actually a specific technique. You really want to use those fingers to start with. Reason being is if your goal is to sweep, pick, and gain all that really awesome, delicious speed that you can get with an arpeggio, you have to have a proper position. If you've ever taken a guitar lesson in person before, you've probably heard a private instructor or a classroom instructor say things about proper position. Proper position is just the easiest way to do something efficiently. It's not like the way some super astute dude necessarily came up with. They figured out that it was easy to do it this way and that you could always do it that way, and that's what proper position became. So one more time through this minor arpeggio here. And coming back down is going to be the exact same thing, the exact same fingers. I'll pull off. You'll also notice that I'm only talking about my left hand right now. There are a lot of techniques that we can do with our right hand as far as picking goes. You can pick these alternate right now. You can practice just hammering them on. Eventually, we'll do sweeping. Today's goal is not to teach you to sweep also. Just throwing that out there. I just want you guys to have these arpeggios under your fingers. So after you've played that A minor arpeggio, however many times it takes you to feel comfortable with it, where you can look away and stop pausing the video and doing that type of thing, I want you to move it around. Go ahead and put your pinky on a different fret and play me a different minor arpeggio. So I'm going to do E minor and A minor back and forth. So in E minor, all I have to do is go on my A string and find an E note, which is at 7. and then play that exact same shape. I'm going to use my fingers the same way. All of the gaps will be the same. All of these shapes are completely movable. So E minor arpeggio is going to start here, and it's going to sound like this. Now I'll go back up to the A minor arpeggio. You'll see that they're the same. Now the next step you can take after this is trying to connect the two. Anything that I show you guys how to do is all aimed at application. I want you to be able to play solos and use arpeggios fluidly throughout your solo playing. So if you're a big pentatonic person, you can add arpeggios to your arsenal. That way you have more tricks up your sleeve. It's always cool, and I know that this has probably happened to every viewer, where you've seen a guitar player who just pulls a trick out of his bag that you didn't expect, and then you were hooked. You watched the rest of the video where you're like, oh man. So the more of those that you can learn and tastefully use in your playing, the better. I mean, you can really come up with some really cool things, and expanding your knowledge is always nice too. So let's connect these two arpeggios, and what I mean by that is I'm going to do one ascending, and then I'm going to slide down and do one descending. So let's start E minor, and I'm going to slide up to the A minor and come down the A minor. So ascend on E minor, descend on A minor. Honestly, that's a cool riff right there. Just going back and forth in between E minor and A minor arpeggio sounds pretty cool. Okay, so you learn them separate, you move them around, you attach them together. Now you know 5-string minor arpeggios pretty well. Now that's no add-ons. We're not doing minor 7s, minor 9s, anything like that. That's just a minor arpeggio. Let's go ahead and look at the major. The exercises for it are going to be the same. So this is going to be the 5-string major arpeggio. Only one thing changes. In your chord shape here, you have a first, a third, and a fifth. That creates your triad. That creates your normal arpeggio. Whether it's major or minor, you're always going to have a first, a third, and a fifth. The only thing that changes in between a major and minor arpeggio is the third becomes a major third, which some people would say is a raised third. So they just mean to play it sharp. So I'm going to play A, and now instead of using my middle finger, like I did in the minor arpeggio, I'm going to use my ring finger on 11 on the D string, which is the major third. You'll also notice that I didn't reach back to 8 with my pointer finger. That's another one of those minor thirds at 8, but it's a major third at 9. That's a pretty cool one. So now we could do the same exact exercise if we wanted. Let me do an E major arpeggio, 5-string shape. Everything follows the same suit. I've just moved down to 7 where I can find an E, and then I'm doing that little traditional major arpeggio shape. And now let me attach them. These are the exact same exercises as the minor arpeggio. It's just a great and easy to wrap your head around way to practice these arpeggios. So I'm going to go, let's change the direction. Let's go up the A major and down the E major. Let's do that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, cool. I like those. I think those sound awesome. Okay, so now we have both major and minor 5-string arpeggios. I have a feeling you guys know where I'm going with this. Mix them together. Our intro to this channel has these arpeggio shapes in it. I don't want to show it to you. I want you guys to figure it out. If you can figure out the Futurist intro riff, please post it. That would be so cool. The information I'll give you on it is that it is made of these arpeggios. It's made of 5-string major and minor arpeggios. I just mixed them all together. So let me do, I'm going to do an A minor to a C major arpeggio, and I'm going to link them together. So my A minor, I already showed you guys. C major is going to be new. So A minor. Then the C major that I'm going to go to is going to be above 12th fret. I'm going to go to the octave above. It's a little bit closer to my hand right now. And I come down that C major. So that C major, you just have to find a C note on the A string and then do that exact same shape, that major shape. So let me link these together and I'll be quiet for a little bit. You'll notice too, I am purposely using different types of picking patterns. Like I said, this is not a sweeping lesson. I'll be happy to consider doing one of those, maybe. We'll see. But I just want to show you guys the arpeggio shape. So I'm purposely changing my picking around, just showing you that these are left-hand techniques. Okay, so let's look at 3-string arpeggios as well. So 3-string arpeggios are going to focus on there's going to be less individual played notes. There will still only be a triad of notes, a first, a third, and a fifth, but instead of covering like a 2 and a 2.5 octave range, we're just going to focus inside of an octave. So I really like these little ones that look like D major chords and D minor chords. I think all you guys are probably familiar with D major. Sorry, that caught my fingernail there. Made a little funny noise. And then D minor. Well, that chord itself, like I said earlier, is an arpeggio. If you play it one note at a time, you already have an arpeggio. But you can move that shape around. You don't have to be tied to the open D string or anything like that, because we're actually just going to use that one little shape. So let me come up here, back up to A minor. A minor, I'm going to start with my pinky on the E string, high E string, on 12. I put my pointer finger on 8, same string. Middle finger is going to go, in middle finger, not ring finger. Middle finger is going to go to 10. Pointer finger is going to go to 9 on G. Whole thing here. So it's just a little focused part of the arpeggio. It's almost as if we're just playing the top part of the 5-string arpeggio right now. Let me show you the major shape as well. There's only one difference. When there's only 4 notes total in between a major and minor, there's only ever going to be that one difference, which is changing your third from a minor third back to a major third. So this one is going to be A major, and you're going to notice that my pointer finger doesn't dip back for that 8. It's going to stay at 9. So I'll go 12, 9, 10, 9. So you have 2 different shapes there. That was like kind of a cool sci-fi movie intro type of sound going back and forth between major and minor. Kind of cool. Same thing as far as the 5-string arpeggios with exercises. Try to mix them up. Try to add them together. And then I am going to add one thing that I think you guys would really, really enjoy is mix up the order that you play these in. Play, like double up on some notes. Like go G, B, G strings, B string, G, then to the E or something. just to get some variety in there, and then move them around. Just try to come up with something kind of creative, just to get your hand wrapped around the idea. Once you have the muscle memory and it's really starting to kind of move for you, you'll be so comfortable, and you'll be able to throw them into licks all over the place. Very, very fun thing here. Now, let's look at the Mac Daddies, the 6-string arpeggios. These are, of course, going to have the most notes. They're also, coincidentally, like the biggest as far as stretching goes. In particular, the major shape that I personally use has a pretty big stretch in it. So I'm going to show it to you guys at G on your E string, because I want to show you guys this stretch. I think it's really healthy to stretch. I think if you can't reach it the first time you try it, that you should keep trying it. I have students of all hand shapes and all of them can do this. So let's look at a G major 6-string arpeggio. This starts with a hammer on the E string. Now, before I get moving too far here, I sometimes have a bad habit in this one that you guys need to avoid, or it'll drive you insane. The next move here you have to do with your ring finger. You have to go 3rd, 5th. So G, 1st, 3rd, ring finger 5th, ring finger rolls to the next 5th. So fret-wise, we have 3rd fret for G, reaching all the way up to 7th fret with your pinky for B. Ring finger is going to take over D and your first G octave. Cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and go through the rest of this arpeggio now. That was just the first octave of it. So let's go. Roll your ring finger. Middle finger goes up a fret past the roll. So you're on G now at 4th fret. Pointer finger goes 3 and rolls. If you do it with the right fingers, you can work this arpeggio up super duper fast. It's really, really awesome. But you have to make sure to do that ring finger thing. My bad habit, I'll expose myself here for a second because I think it's important for you guys to know that I mess up constantly. I don't know if there's such thing as a perfect guitar player. There's some of you out there that are perfect. It's crazy. Like, it's nuts. I'll put you on that pedestal because I'll figure it out one day, I think, maybe. But I mess up a lot. And one of the ways I mess up all the time is instead of using my ring finger for that first roll, I will use my middle finger, and then I'm out of fingers by the end. I've run out, and I'll show you. If I use my middle finger, now I can't go back up here swiftly. Of course I can just move and play it, but if you're trying to get some speed, you run out of fingers. So if you do it right, you're able to get it all the way through with some ease. Now, this is your major shape. Once again, just like the 5 strings, I think you should now move it around and try to play it all over the place. So we can go from G, maybe up to, I don't know, how about C major? Oops, I messed that one up. Let's try again. I used the right fingers, but I was just sloppy. That happens too. So in between G and C, and work those back and forth as well. All right, I've got one more arpeggio for you guys. It is going to be the 6-string minor shape. Now that your hands are completely tired from trying all of these arpeggios and from stretching on that giant one, this one's a little easier if you like bar chords and it's opposite day. This one has a big roll in it. You're going to have to roll your pointer finger. This is good, right? This is a good example. I'm just going to do this and see how many edits Steven has to take out of this thing. So G minor, we're going to start 3rd fret. Pinky's going to be at 6 now, a much more manageable 6. A lot of people just don't like to use their pinky in general, so sorry. Use your pinky. It's very important. It's a whole finger that you're leaving out of your playing. Stop it. That's a weird habit to tuck that thing away. Use it. So we've got 3, 2, 6. Ring finger again. 5, 5. Pointer finger. 3, 3, 3. Now you'll notice that I'm rolling my finger like I did like this, because I only want to hear one note at a time. If not, I might as well play a G minor chord. I'm trying to play the arpeggio, so I want my notes to have, I want them to be legato sounding, but I don't want them to be on top of each other. There's a difference in between playing connected and playing a chord. So I roll my finger to silence the string prior. Then move it. Let's do B minor. Why not? Oh, I kind of like the way that sounds. Sick. So now you have a bajillion arpeggios, right? You have, how many did I show you? 6? 6 individual shape arpeggios, but you can use any of them anywhere. So if my math is correct, you have 4 Pfeffilian arpeggios, and I'm very good at math. Ask any of my friends. Please don't ask my friends if I'm good at math or if I'm good at anything other than maybe playing music. Please. So I encourage you to put this into your soloing. Go hit a backing track and try to add these arpeggios into your already day-to-day playing. Hit that pentatonic run and then end it with an arpeggio. It'll be awesome. You'll love it. It'll surprise your friends. They'll ask you where you learned it. And then you can tell them you learned it at future riffs. You guys have an awesome one. I'm going to enjoy the thunderstorm that has been interrupting our filming. Lightning Capital and the hockey team. I don't know if that's a plug or not. See you guys.